What's up? What's up, friends? Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are here at Gimme a Minute, and this is Mike Worth. Today, we're going to be looking at manta rays. I got a commission to do a manta ray, and yeah, I've never actually really drawn one before, so I spent a little bit of time looking at some reference images and getting some just some ideas about maybe where this might go, all that good stuff. So I think I'm gonna just kind of go for it. So I got my space here today, and I'm just gonna play around and try to see like what I can do, right? See what we can do in this composition. I think we'll have fun. So let's get to it. All right. So I'm looking for, let's see. I'm gonna use my everyday round brush, and then I want something that blue side, okay. All right, so I've got a reference that I'm investigating, just some silhouettes and things like that, right? Just to get a sense of like what's going on with the manta ray. So you can see like manta ray's got like a shape, it has horns, and I know there's all kinds of rays and things like that. We're not going for accuracy here. We're going for something that's more the shape, and then we're going to like stylize it. That's the goal with this. So not accuracy, just really dope magical realism. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, so turn that off there and just start to think about now what this thing might look like. And I like to think about, when I'm drawing something, that it has kind of a, let's see, so I'm gonna do that real quick, make that a little thinner, so more drawing. Okay, is the ray is really like this kind of foil, right? This shape like this, and it has like a wing and a wing. I'm not quite sure yet how it's going to resolve. There's the fuselage part of the ray itself, and then thinking about its head, right? So its head is like really this kind of like antenna like scenario. So here's our sort of general shape of the item, right? And then what I like to do with this is really start to round it out and think about, how am I going to make this into like a final drawing, something that's a little bit more useful in what we're going to be doing. So I know this looks like a crab in the making here, but yeah, I'm trying to get these general shapes and think about, this thing might come down somewhat, this loops in to the body. Okay, so the body, there we go, that's more like it. There we go. Okay, so I'm feeling this out just to see kind of how it goes, and so far so good. All right, looking at more of this manta ray head. It looks like their head portion here, these kind of antennas, they get a little skinnier. So I'm going to start to think now. Oh, that's big. I'm going to start to think now about how I'm going to remove some of this information, and getting the manta ray, we're getting it going a little bit more. So this is my technique, friends, is like I draw it terribly and then I clean it up, and that's really how you go from loose pencils to something a little bit more substantial. So we're working on the manta ray here, and if you're just joining us, I am Mike Worth, and I'm an artist for a long time, about 20 years now, and I've illustrated a ton of things, animated a ton of things, made a ton of interactive things, games, experiences, infographics, museum exhibits, gosh, lots of things. All right, and yeah, I've been creating my own art now for a very long time. I really love doing this. Okay, let's think about the overall shape of that tail. Dope. Okay, so as I start to draw this terribly, right, it's getting cleaner. I know. I can, oh, not yet. Woo! There's a big hole right here, but if I enclose this shape, if you're not familiar with Procreate on the iPad, that's what I'm using here today, is the lovely iPad that you can see, and I've got it connected here to my screen. So I'm streaming that in there. Really powerful device, simple, but powerful device. All right, looking here more at the reference. Looks like there's like a little bump out right here on the manta ray. I had that up a little high, so we'll bring that down now. All right, just okay. So I'm carving out, you know, the shape that I want this thing to take, and yeah, I'm fixing as I go. That's the way I like to do it. Okay, so there's that little kind of bulb head there with the manta ray. All right, how are we doing? How's this feeling? How's this feeling? All right, I feel like, and you know, y'all, this is just how it goes. I feel like this is all trash. This is all trash because this manta ray, it looks like it has more of this happening here first. I gotta really establish that portion of this first, you know, and really make sure that like it's understood. And then we do the, yeah. See what I mean? That's a whole lot better. That's like a substantial animal. Just roughing it in, roughing it in. Then the eraser comes. Oh, it's way too big. Scale it down. Good, good, good. Okay. Dope. Blocking it in. So by laying down like a ton of lines, I'm starting to find out where like the line is, like what is the true outline of this, and I'm starting to get it. That's a little sharp, a little bit kind of that's not what I want. Yeah, so swoop down. Like that. There we go. Let's carve that out. Sweet. Okay, I gotta make this happen better on this side. I just don't want it to look like a flying peace sign, you know what I mean, and not like a ray. Also too, and I'm sure folks are gonna let me know about this, but we can focusing these inward is way better than, there we go. Yeah, nice. Okay. Guys, when I'm trying to draw something I've never drawn before, I work through it. I struggle through it, frankly. That's the better thing to say, because like, you know, you just got to stick with it. I got to now commit to, all right, I love these other lines better than the lines that I have. Okay. So give me the strength to control the lines that I can, and you know, the grace to give up on the ones that I can't. But in this case, we have total control here, right? We can determine now what this looks like. Oh, sweet. Okay, I'm liking this a whole lot more. So, yeah, like I said, I've got to feel my way through the drawing. You know, I'm trying to look at a reference here. You know, sure, I could just trace this, and that's the thing that technology does. But nah, I'm not here for that, right? I might do that once just to kind of learn the flow of something, or like, you know, learn the way something kind of generally feels. But you know, my whole thing with, if I'm copying something, then I absolutely want to do that once or twice just to get my hand moving, right? Maybe I'm all gunked up here and I need to like loosen up creatively. So, you know, that's what I want to do. But then I'm putting that drawing aside, right? I'm not going to use that drawing that is directly traced from the thing. That's the difference, right? It's like, you can do that and learn from it, but you know, we don't want to use it as a final, right? That's just jacking someone's work. That's infringement. Okay. You know, we all make creative intellectual property, so we don't want to infringe on that stuff. But we don't all live in the world where we can just like run outside and go look at the manta ray in the bay, hold up, psh, psh, and snap reference photos and be like, yeah, got it, sweet. And that's it. No, that doesn't always happen. So reference photos, wonderful. It's like opened up the world for us. But there's a difference, right? Using the drawing and tracing it to learn the form is really good, but you want to do your own drawings. If the whole point is to like get yourself to be able to draw this thing just from your imagination, right? Two ways that you draw while you're drawing. One is through observation. So if we can go observe these manta rays in the wild, well then yeah, right? I could just look at what I'm seeing here and use a translation device of my pencil, measuring the pencil, you know what I mean? Or however you or anybody else likes to draw, and that's through observation. But then the other kind of drawing is drawing from memory, right? It's like there are things that if you draw, you can just draw like boom, because you've done it a bunch of times. So you have the muscle memory built in. So that's the thing, is like when you're training, mimic, okay? But keep mimicry for training, not for production, right? Not for output. That's the important thing. So that's all, a lot of artists ask me all the time, like, when what's the line on reference photos? It's like, if you're going to sit there and outline a reference photo and then just drop it into a thing and make that the art, right? Like, you better license that photo. You can pay another artist a small licensing fee to do that. People aren't trying to get rich on you like that. That's not what it's about. You should think like in the life of a project. And artists, you can do this all the time, but in the world of commercial art where you're outputting this stuff, you gotta really just abide by that courtesy, really. We call it a law or a rule. It's a courtesy to another artist to say, like, respect for your work, right? Like, your work has taught me something. So if you're gonna use it in that way where there's like a direct verbatim connection, then like tracing something, then yeah, I would be respectful and give that other artist the courtesy to do it. So, but it's up to you. I mean, you act as you want to do your thing, right? In the world. All I can say is it stinks, really stinks to be ripped off when really it's not about the law, it's about courtesy. Really just courtesy. All right, I'm gonna make this tail thicker. I'm liking where this is going so far, so I'm kind of filling this in. Yeah, cool. So now that I've got this shape, I want to start to see now what it looks like filled. So I just dropped in here. Let's go like full fill. Okay. Cool. What am I doing? All right. So I just need to clean up the edges, but now I'm starting to get the thing, and like, yeah, this is all right. I'm enjoying where this is going so far. We got this here. That was like a thing I was playing with before doing the drawing, and now this is me, right? I practiced a couple times before, looking at reference, doing observation, learning how the manta ray feels, and then I went for it myself, right? You got to jump in and make that happen. That's the courtesy. Pay another artist, especially like, they teach you, they bring value to. What's happening here? Uh-oh. My pencil dead? There we go. Let's see. Let's get this. Something's not working right here. All right, a little delay on the iPad here, but not too bad. I can't draw here now. I don't know. There's no selections on, nothing like Okay. All right. So as I'm thinking about this now, you know, this is going to become one of Mike's things at night. So we got, let's see what's going on here. My app gave up a little bit there. Seems to be a step or two behind. Okay, let's see if we just catch back up to where we were. All right, refilling that here in the space. I'm going to clean this up, but I just want you to see now from a layout perspective, I got this really rough manta ray, right? So what I can do is, well, really, because it's on its own layer right now, I can just grab the selection tool. I don't even need to use the transform tool, the arrow. I don't need to use the ribbon or the selection tool. I can just play with this here and now, right? So I can, you know, think about how this feels. I'm using the uniform scale, so it grows proportionately, right? Know the difference between freeform and uniform. Freeform is going to make things wonky and make them look stretched and squashed. So just, you know, be careful with that one if you're unfamiliar. And yeah, all right. So we've got this manta ray, and I'm thinking about how to like set it up in this ocean scene. You know, this is my manta ray at night in the ocean. You know, that's really what the piece is going for. So, all right, we'll put it like this for now, just to play. And I love this part of the process because I start to really think about like, all right, well, what am I really doing here? What's really going on here, Mike? Okay, so make that a little bit darker. Our manta ray is going to probably be a different set of colors. I might make the manta ray like, I was thinking tealish. A whole kind of myriad of teal things I think would be really nice. So I'm going to try that out and see how that goes. And yeah, if you're with us on the live stream, say what's up. We got the chat going, and let me know what's going on. All right, cool. Hello. All right. Yeah, here we are, rocking and rolling. All right, sorry, I hope I'm not stumbling through this here. Let's stay on task. So we're gonna do some teal. I was thinking like teal and taupe would be like a fun play on this. So that's where we're gonna go with this, and then there's some fun like glow effects and things that we can do. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so I like, now that I can see with water here what's happening, I want my manta ray to be bigger. And we're going to play a little bit with the edges. I'm not so satisfied with the edges yet. Right? I want it to look a little more, how do we say, a little more beautiful, a little more natural, maybe flowing. We'll see. Okay, so we got the background going, and you know, why don't we just like, boom, I'm going to jump into the background and start to do that sort of stuff. So because I'm working in, go to canvas, crop and or I guess canvas information here, we can see, let's see. Oh, it says it's 132. Let's see. I think that might be right. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I set this to screen size earlier, but really I want this to be, yeah, we got to, okay. Y'all, we got to go back to the drawing board. Oh, terrible. Okay, so here, yeah, this isn't what I want. Bummer. I set the wrong setting. So here we're going to go, and I want my 24 by 18 canvas. All right, let's catch up. Now you can see I've had a second here to draw the manta ray, and this is where I was a step ago. So let's see if I can stumble back through the manta ray drawing, you know, like just real fast. And I'm going to try a trick this time. Okay, so let's see here. Is that? Maybe it is. Okay. I was looking for the symmetrical drawing. Yeah, there's like the drawing guide. Let's see, edit drawing guide. Okay. Yep. Symmetry. Sweet. All right. These are super fun, these little modes inside of Procreate. And I'm new, so just, you know, bear with me, but it took me a while. I have about 20 some odd years in Photoshop. So coming over from there, it's like, but it's nice. I'm enjoying. Okay, so let's try this now. We have this completely centered middle here where we're gonna now, like, so you guys have seen this before. It's like you can draw. Let's see what's going on. All right, yeah, it should be good now. And then, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I should have just done that from the beginning. That would have been the way to go. So I love this symmetrical drawing. It's bilateral symmetry, which a manta ray would be, and butterflies are, and shells, and all sorts of fun things. All right, let's draw this legitimately now, to where we're feeling real good about it. All right, so these things have those heads. Woo. I dislike this already. Yes. I know. All right, one more time. There's that head part. Okay. Ooh. All right, not bad. It's kind of like a manta seagull. I'll take it. It seems to be like what's actually going on here in the space. So this is using the symmetrical drawing assistant, right? And that's under the wrench icon. You'll see there's a drawing guide, edit drawing guide. You can pick like what's the thing you're going to use. There's other drawing guides you can add to Procreate, like lettering and tons of other things. Really neat if you're looking for like ways to set up parameters in drawing and then take advantage of the tool. The tool is amazing in that it will do this. So should I suffer through drawing this side and then this side? Yeah, I should. But yeah, here and now, this is really wonderful. So we'll turn off the drawing guide now, and it returns the drawing back to kind of normal of what it is. So I have now on this, right, it says it's an assisted layer, and here I can, boom, I can now play with this, and it becomes its own object. It's really, really fantastic. Okay, so we got that manta ray now. I'm gonna, yeah, I know. You're looking at it going, wow, Mike, aren't you an artist? Yes, cool. This is giving me like just a sense of where things are going. Now I'll come in and I'll do some touch up, right? I'll start to paint in. And what I'm doing now is it's called color flatting. So when I do a color flat, I create a big grid of pixels that are all touching. And the reason you want to do that is because of the tool I want to show you guys in a couple minutes. This right here, the selection tool, the ribbon at the top, and this automatic feature, because that just lets me go boom and then select the entire shape because it's all the same pixel value, which is royal blue. This is what we want to do, and the reason we want to do this is because we're working with a high-res document, and in Procreate, you need like a super iPad to get bigger with the size of the documents you can put out. So if you draw something real beautiful, make sure it's 300 dots per inch, right? Like I went and changed my file to be. So when it prints, it's photo quality. The only problem is that it gives you a limit of layers. So here I added layer 2, watch. I go to that, it says maximum of 2 layers reached, right? It says like, if you want us to have high res, we got to give up layer capability. So you got to learn how to draw within just a couple of layers. And the key to doing that is using that ribbon, right? Just like if you were in real life, I'm a muralist, right? So when I paint with spray paint, this is the condition of being in a spray paint environment, is that I can paint over what I want over and over and over again, right? I don't get the advantage of layers, but I use tape and paper to mask off the area. So that's what we're doing here, is we're doing an incredible amount of masking. And the computer digital layering allowed us to get out of that world, because long time ago, to do layering like we do now, we used to have to use acetate overlays, and everything was shot with a camera, right? I remember when I would go to school, I was a freshman in college, and we rolled in, and there was camera booths with these switch buttons, and you would lay out an ad, or you'd lay out your illustration on this camera. Basically, it looks like an enlarger, right? An overhead enlarger, and it was just a mounted camera. It would shoot a 35 mil, or at times, I believe a 50 mil image, which was a medium format, and that was like, and we would use those photographs. That's what would go to a magazine, and they would print that, or a company would print with that photograph. Everything was done with photographs and photography, right? So, yeah, we also learned airbrushing, so we could smooth out things on whatnot, and letter, and learn how to use propelled paint. I didn't learn how to paint cars or anything like that, but we learned airbrush illustration, and all that is really stenciling, because that paint wants to blow out. So it's all stencils that you lay out. So this is taking me back. Instead of having, just this pencil, I would have the knife, I would have all the other things that I needed to make those effects occur in real life, in the photo mechanical world. Oh my Lord. So good times way back when, but that's why I appreciated doing that kind of work. Oh, wait a minute. Is the drawing assistant still on? It is indeed. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so I have to turn off the drawing assist. So here we go. Boom. That's off now. So now it won't do the bilateral symmetrical drawing. Really, because I just want to clean up this area in here. So that was just a little bit of a bumpy, but not too bad. Okay, so what I want to do here is lift this up, this little inner area of the ray, because this is where I don't want it to line up so much with the bumpy parts on the outside. This is more of like what it looks like. So, okay. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Yo, throw a what's up in the comment if you're watching and you're enjoying. If you got questions, I have the chat open. I can see. So if you want to holler and have me explain something, happy to do it. Right? But this stream is something I would normally be doing. I would be, I teach school during the day to students, and then art students, and then at night, I'm an artist. I come home and start doing my own work, and I just I thought, what a great way to combine these two things and bring out the Mike Worth brand for folks to enjoy, right? To just kick it with me here on some art chat. So feel free to ask questions and all that stuff, or if you're curious about something, happy to answer. Okay, all right. So we're going to think now about what's going on here with this tail. Okay, and I want to be careful with the brush I use, but all right, let's check one more time. A stingray tail, okay, or a manta ray tail. I shouldn't just use those interchangeably, right? They are different things. All right, these tails can get long. All right, cool. Fun. All right, so let's see if we can. I'm going to use this brush Victor. Okay, it's got a little grungy edge, which is fine. I've been using a nice clean edge brush, the everyday round brush, but the Victor has my thin thick. My everyday round doesn't. Okay, so what I want to do here is, yeah, it's too thin. Let's get Victor like a decent size, full opacity. Too thick. Let's see. Get heavy. Okay. That is just way, way, way too thick, but all good. Okay. What do you think? Is that too like Piglet? I've seen them where they whip, and like that's exciting. So I'm trying to kind of capture that. So let's see if I can. I like the loop-de-loop. That's fun. Yeah. All right. Let's just not do it so terribly now. Okay. I like to have a little bit of an opening in the loop. So sorry if I do this 10 times, but there we go. All right. I like this. This is happening for me, and I think, Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna just make this appear to be more of a natural tail. There we go. There we go. Okay. I like that better. I like that better. And it has this little nubby. Okay. Whoa. All right. Sweet. All right. This looks like a kind of a manta ray flag right now. Okay. Cool. So I made that second layer earlier because, you know, Procreate gives you a background layer and it says it can be a color, right? But we want to put some stuff on top of that. So if you're just checking out my work for the first time, you've not ever seen what I do, in my area here, I'll show you guys, like this was the piece that I worked on an earlier stream today. It's the pomegranate. And you can see I have these crazy backgrounds that I add here. And I call these flow fields, okay? Flow fields are like something I've always been interested in, and it is my dot matrix, you know, Ben-Day dot, halftone dot type of approach to filling space, okay? I have what other artists have, it's called a horror vacui, right? So the word horror, like a horror movie, or horror with my other accent, and vacui. So it means fear of empty space, right? So it's like, oh. So think about if that's something that you deal with as an artist. When you're working, are you looking around at your composition, you're like, oh my God, there's an empty space, and you feel compelled to put something there. And then an hour goes by and you've made 4,000 squigglies and you're like, oh my God, what did I just commit to? Well, you, friend, might be experiencing horror vacui, which is what's going on. I was delighted to read about that. I was like, oh, there's a community of people out there, right? And I was really excited about that. All right, here we go. So in this brush palette here, this is my brush palette, Mike's. I've made a couple of custom things, and then I've just borrowed some of the greats from other menus that come in Procreate. And this is what I've been like consistently using for the last 4 months, okay? Really since I've been like more investing in the iPad, but still I've been using my Wacom just as much. I've been enjoying actually both and the experience of both. I feel like they should merge at some point. The feel of them, you know, all that stuff. Okay, so we're gonna use, I have the flow field brush outline and then the shader. All right, so we're going to use the shader. The shader fills a ton of space really fast. And I made this brush. It's, yeah, you can see it here. I'll show you the shape. It's a little kind of kernel of rice with a rounded edge on either side. And then I just played with distribution. And it does what I need it to do, right? To create my flow fields. Right? I even signed it terribly. When I made this thing, I had just had a surgery on my hand, so like I couldn't hold the pen properly, so it's just, you know, looks like I sneezed while I did it. But anyway, let's lay this down. We're gonna lay this down right now. So when I'm in this space, I'm starting to think about what a flow field is, right? So a flow field is essentially like the disruption, the turbulence on a surface. That's what I'm looking to do, right? Or if you're looking up from a plane, looking down on the earth over a beautiful mountain range, you're going to see topography, right? Where you get peaks and valleys. You're going to sort of understand its three-dimensional relationship to the earth. So I like to do this in the two-dimensional space and kind of play a little bit with the 3D. So let me show you how I lay it down here. So I'm looking at this picture of the manta ray and I'm like, all right, I know that I'm going to do my spirals first. I like to think about the spirals, right, of where they are first in the space, and those create like hot spots. So here I'll lay some down, and then I also want to think about, you know, do I want this this ray to have a moon or like star? I always put it against a star background, but we're going to do like a cosmic kind of thing. I had done a flounder piece a while back and I love what I did with that. So I'm going to play with that in here as well. Okay. All right. So let's think about what these spaces are. And I just want to tune this brush real quick just to make sure it's doing what it needs to do. That looks good, about 60%. Okay. And we need 100% opacity because we want this to like fill it. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking, where am I going to put some hot spots? There seems to be like a natural one right here. So let's go for that. Oh, this brush is a little too big. Okay, I think that's more my speed. Yeah. A little bigger. Sorry. All right. I'm into this. Cool. All right. That's so much better. I really love that. It's not going to be, the manta ray isn't going to be this color, by the way. It's going to change. So there's one hot spot. Let's do another one here. Let's do another one here, right? And like, as I'm starting to do these circles, I'm almost saying bing, 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 like I'm creating a little points to look at, to move your eye around. Okay. Ooh, how about like right here? It doesn't have to all be, ooh, let me make sure I'm working in the right layer. It doesn't have to all be out in the open. It can be obscured by the object. I like to do that sometimes. That's fun. So here, let's do one right here on the ray's antenna. Super fun. Okay. All right, and we'll do a wee one right here, and good. And then I'll sign on the bottom right. That's usually what I'm going to do. So, what's up, everybody? I hope everybody's enjoying the stream so far. If you are just joining us, drop a what's up in the chat. Say hello. Let me know that you're here. I got that up so I can see if you got questions or anything. We're going through this manta ray drawing. This is a commission that came my way, and yeah, for digital. And I'm excited to do some of the fun new things I'm doing with Procreate on here. And we're going to take a short coffee break right here, right? And just say, right, cheers to the good years. Woo! Okay, so I lay these spirals down, and they start to now, if you were like looking at a picture of Jupiter, you could start to pick out where the storms were, right? But if you were also looking at paint mixing together and marbling, you would see where the little swirls are. If you were looking at down at a river, and you'd start to see where the eddies were, right? These are eddies. If you've ever been boating before, eddies are whirlpools. You know, they represent, oh, there's a rock below. You know, there's something displacing the water that when the force is pushing, it's creating turbulence, right? And that turbulence is what we want. Yeah, awesome, right? And this is what, you know, Van Gogh put into his Starry Night. We're not sure how he observed that, right? Some people and some art historians I've been starting to read now talk about how his time at the institution gave him this kind of insight into what was happening in the cosmos, perhaps, or you know, that it was something connected to a hallucination, right? But you know, in the early 19th century, the spiral galaxy had been witnessed and observed, right, and actually through a telescope and recorded by scientists. So it was something that like existed, and yeah, I think yeah, thinking about how we have a better understanding in science now with what this is. It doesn't seem so strange anymore. Okay, so we are now laying down all those different oculus things, and we're thinking now about one special thing. So we want all these things to flow together and twist and touch and everything. So what I've been doing is I've been putting these perpendicular, like almost rays of sun, and it like looks so cheesy, okay, to start, but mind you, I'm going to fill in all of this space, right, and I'll let them coalesce like that, right? They can touch. Those are kind of like rules I have with this. They can even loop back onto themselves like a solar flare. If you've ever seen a solar flare on the sun, that's so cool. It is like absolutely one of the coolest things. It means that like energy escapes, but because the gravity of the sun is so strong, it's like, get over here, right? Like a terrible Mortal Kombat reference there, but it just whips it back in, right? Like just bungee, like, no, no, you don't. So to see energy kind of bend into that, like, you know, I mean, I love all that. So I'm trying to, on a 2-dimensional scale, get all that sinusoidal feel and flavor and flair. And gosh, it's like the more I do these, I'm seeing, you know, you follow just some basic parameters with like how it goes. So here, I now put a perpendicular one going into a perpendicular one. That's not terrible. It's going to actually work out once we get these things rocking and rolling. But I find that like the way that I can create definition is of these eddies and little oculus hotspots is by running perpendicular lines to them. So if I had, you know, if this is like the eddy here, I'm pushing against it like this. So it's a clear difference, right? It's like a basket weave type of thing. And yeah, in doing that, it helps me, like I said, establish that difference between the two. And yeah, it's like the great chain of being. Yeah, it turns into the Matrix in here. Are y'all excited for the Matrix? There's a new Matrix coming out. It's like kind of weird. I was gonna say, it's like they're saying there's a new Star Wars, but there's been several new Star Wars, and that's not weird anymore. There's been new Battlestar Galactica. They brought it all back. Very few nostalgic things out there anymore that have not been remade. Maybe like Space 1999. That has not been remade. That would be funny if they did a show and it was like very 90s. I would appreciate like a futuristic 90s. Saved by the Cosmic Bell. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? All right. So as I'm doing this now, you know, I'm starting to kind of bisect all of the different aspects. And once I create this big web of existence, you know, now I come in and I start to just use the shader brush for its beautiful purpose, which is to fill in area. Glorious purpose. There we go. And I don't want to do too many like on top of one another, so I have to be a little careful. That's why I always separate the first flow field lines with the shader brush as I'm doing them, and then I fill in like, yeah, there's a little spot right there. Yeah, there's a little spot right there. Good, good, good. Just so it doesn't get too dense too quick. That's the point, is I love having the space in between. Look at how this is looking sunflower-like now, right? So it's like the way you curve edges and stuff. Like if I just did a straight line out, like, okay, cool, meets it, boom, good. But if I tilt the line like that, then it gives this scallop. You know, I very inspired by Japanese art, as was Van Gogh. And really, I love that scallop pattern that you see that's really quaint, and it's like in kimono, and it's in tablecloths, and all sorts of patterns and things, and it's across a few Asian countries that we see that scallop. The sea, and it's very much like this, the scales on a fish, or the gentle cascading sand, or the way the ocean moves. I love that feel to it. So that is a wonderful thing. Okay, and yeah, I'm still putting in some wild, funky wild. Okay, so here I have like a triangular convergence of things here, and that's cool. Just let it converge. And it's a nexus, right? If this were to occur, if you were to like flow two spouts of water into one, it'll coalesce and move. It's not gonna like, it takes the shape it's gonna take of what it is. So that much of like the rule of nature is what I want to have here. Still chilling and filling. Catching fills, y'all. Catching fills. So in real life, I got to do this one at a time. You know, there's no brush for me in reality. It's me. But this is great. Like this is, I love this for concepting or for imagining new ways to do flow fields that I can't imagine easily by doing them by hand. Because, you know, I had in my head before I got my iPad, well, this is the way I got to do it. And as I've now been able to work on the iPad, like this has made me dream of flow fields where I can just like lay one out in a few minutes, and it's complex and it's rich and it's beautiful and it's new. And that's been great, as you know, thinking about the iPad as a art development tool. You know, it's great because it's an unlimited sketchbook. You can make any art tool you can dream of in the form of a brush. It reads this very sort of sensitive data in the pencil. I mean, it's like, woo, pretty cool. Soon we'll be doing this in VR, right? We'll be in a virtual world or an augmented world, a mixed world, right? As we're exploring now the different kinds of digital realities that are out there. It's super new and exciting and fun, but if you're a little bit older, you know, you remember the VR craze, not because it was in everybody's home at the time, but because Stephen King wrote a short story, I believe, The Lawnmower Man. There was a movie about like this kind of dim-witted guy who like cleaned up this major virtual digitization lab. I'm not really sure what they kind of did. It kind of combined quantum physics and computers, and you know, the audience now is a little more sophisticated. And after going into the computer, kind of absorbed the computer's artificial intelligent genius brain, you know, like Neo in the Matrix, and then, you know, kind of became this villainous character after you know, engaging with the machine, going into the virtual world, experiencing blah blah blah, whatever. Like that was just enough to make this this person come out and be like an omnipotent being, you know, as far as intelligence, superpowers, the control of machines. It was a pretty interesting premise, but you know, that was the extent of understanding VR. I think the other closest thing that was around at the time was like Captain Video. If you know what that is, just Google Captain Video. There used to be these books, and yeah, it was like a adventures in telepresence, where people would go inside of the TV, or in Willy Wonka's factory when Mike TV, or even in the new one, right? They got zapped, they got digitized, and you know, they took the idea of, well, we take a picture of you and then we transmit it through the air, and that's how they explained television at the time, was that like you got broken up into little pieces and then re-put together by the television screen, right? Which is kind of a ridiculous way to explain television, but that's what the audience at the time really needed to have and hear. So we've always dreamt of being inside the machine, and what's cool is that like you can look at, you don't even have to like dig heavy into this technology to understand that these are extensions of 19th and 18th century concepts and even ancient concepts. You know, we've dreamt of the ultimate art machine and stuff for a long time. You know, when you think about like it just like that, it's like, what is the ultimate art making machine or kit or device, that kind of thing. It's really fascinating. So virtual worlds, right? Artists who do that need to understand the technique of trompe-l'oeil, right? About how you extend reality from a two-dimensional surface to the three-dimensional world. All right, this is looking good. So you can see here now, we'll turn that off, and then we've got the empty space. And sometimes I like to come back and work on the empty space a little bit, just because I may find, oh, I gotta move my ray, like it needs to move 20 pixels or 200 pixels or whatever. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to get the edges as close in as possible. I may not paint the whole thing, even though like I said, I can't help it. It's just part of like what satisfies me and mark making. But I may need the freedom to move this around. I think that's probably good. Yeah, I'm performing for y'all, so don't worry about that. Okay, and all right, we've got now the background and the ray together in a space, and we can really, we're going to keep it like this for a while. We're going to have background. So here, watch, I'll rename this to background, okay, and then rename to the ray. Okay, so we've got now the two items separated, and then background color just hooks it up with giving us background color. So yay, background, thank you. It's like free color, right? It doesn't cost us a layer to just have a blue background. All right, so we're not going to paint the ray just yet. I think what we'll do is, here, check this out. I'm going to take the Melaleuca brush, and which is a texture brush, and I'm going to get like a kind of a darkish blue in here, kind of to match the background. And I'm going to make this big and keep it semi-transparent. And you'll see here, I'm going to just put in some of this undershadow. So this is fun. This is where I love to play with the flow fields. Is like, I got no problem laying them down two-dimensional first like that and flat, and not having to try and figure out how to make it look topographic. I've had folks say before, like, you should do that. I'm like, yeah, this is a good idea, but I haven't learned that yet. So what I'm doing now is I play with these shadows, right? You can see I'm using like a classic graphic design drop shadow, just kind of letting the element sit here, and it's not going to be this color when it's done. I mentioned that earlier. I just want to make sure y'all got me on that one. Okay. And then just for S&Gs, we'll make just a little bit of, just move it around some, just kind of create a surface texture. I don't push too much here, but I just want to darken this a little bit. Sweet. Okay. I like this. I like this. We're having fun with the manta ray, and I'm playing with the background. I have a lot to still do in the background. We're going to add stars and all those things, and then we'll start to play with the ray itself. You know what? Let's go to the ray, because it's interesting to see how that gets built, and then we'll play with the stars after to get close towards the finish. Okay, so we got the ray layer, and remember, because we painted that and then filled it, we created a silhouette. That silhouette in the cartooning digital illustration business is called a flat. Okay, so this FLAT flat is brilliant because it's all the same pixel value. And what that lets you do in Photoshop and other worlds too is you go to the selection tool, right? Not transform, but the little ribbon here in Procreate. And then you get this automatic, right? You have the freehand. We were doing freehand earlier. You can kind of draw outlines and stuff and do fun stuff, and it's great. Feels like you're painting a selection. But with automatic, I can now tune this to here. Tap. And you see this turned its complementary color. You can see here that we have now a very isolated because of all that same color being the same color, same pixel value. Computer understands now, oh yeah, that's a mask. And yeah, I made this selection. You might not be able to see it here, but in these little ridges, you see they're dancing. All that's happening right there. Really wonderful. And what this does is this lets us isolate now all that pixel information. Okay, and I'm going to paint right on top of what was, you know, previously that blue shape was there. Okay. However, though, let me actually stop myself because I don't want this to be blue. All right, I don't want this ray shape to be blue. I wanted it to have a tealish, taupish feel. So check me out. We're gonna go to the magic wand, okay? And then we're gonna play with hue, saturation, and brightness. And we're gonna choose the layer, right? Not the pencil. You can paint these things, by the way, which is dope, but we're gonna use this. And if you see on the bottom, you get these sliders, and oh yeah, right? You can slide these things now to the left and the right and all that stuff and everything. So I want to find like where the, that's good teal. Oh, that's a nice teal. Let's see. I was also thinking about some taupe as well. That's a little too greenish. Okay. Getting kind of there. It's too greenish. We need something. Still too green. Ooh, okay. All right. I like where we're going with this. This is kind of where I was thinking about heading. Let's see if I go all the way the other way. I think I'm using warm colors on this too, so. All right, I don't want to overthink this too much. Okay, yeah, it's good. All right, so this now will allow us to, whatever this base color is going to be, if it's warm or cool, that's where you're going to then use your highlight colors, your full saturation colors on top for effects, right? Okay. Let's see here. That's too red. That might be good. All right. I think we're going to try this kind of orangish thing here. Okay, cool. So with this that way, what we want to do is now go back to where we were. Even though we shifted the overall hue, the color, right, of the manta ray, we're going to go back to the automatic, and because they're all still the same pixel value, we can select them again. This time it turns blue. It's always like the opposite color. All right, now I'm going to color match this terracotta, right, this cocoa brown that I have here, more of a warmer brown coffee, and here it's a mid-tone. So I'm going to slide down to darker, and I'm going to pull open Melaleuca brush, which is such a nice texture brush. I love this brush. Okay, and here we go. We're just going to, oh, dagnabbit, I lost my selection. Let's get the selection back. Okay, selection's on again. All right, and you'll see now all that chaos gets controlled. All right, this really lets us now push. Oh, that's a little too heavy. Oh, yeah. All right, I gotta do this again. Okay, so we'll do one first pass like that, and then we'll do a second pass. Okay, a third. This helps us just, you know, define the animal. Yeah, and then that I'm going to probably darken most of it to match. All right, we're going to do a fourth. We're feeling good today. Yeah, okay. And then I haven't touched the top area, the head area, just because I want to shrink the brush now some and get this in here, and then basically run that same kind of pass on the areas that won't pick up as much light. Sweet. Okay. Oh, I guess we can get a little more on the darker side here. Alright, so I'm trying to do like half of this now. Cool. I love this texture brush. It's great. It's like using ink and stuff like that. I know this looks crazy dark right now, right? This isn't the brightest thing in the wild, but we're going to really start to carve it out. I like to work from a darker space and kind of layer on highlights and things like that. Cool. Okay, let's see. What else we got going on here? All right. We've done the shadow part. Let's do some highlight parts. So we're staying now with this color wheel. I like the disc. And I slide from this darker part up to the very lighter part now. Okay. And then you can see I can come in here now and I can add some highlights, right? Because it's like light patterns are mixtures of highlights and shadows. So, well, okay, I'll get this person. Just thinking about like the top surface of this beast. Yeah, right, the ray. What up, Ray? So down here, we need to think about, oh, that's too heavy. About cutting the light in now. Okay. Sweet. So it's all about passes, right? So I just did really two passes on this, but cut in now and just with very bright yellow, just hit that edge. As bright a yellow as you can muster here. Yeah, that's how you really start to carve out the depth and dimension in that space. It's really the way to go. I dig it. And that's my technique, really, is like just layering on, you know, thinking about one side, establishing the shadow and the highlight side, and then layering on the different aspects. Now that we went like a little bit closer, now I'll think about like adding some highlight just to some of these areas here. Just gives now some interest, right? We recognize, oh, the same brightness is over here too. I bet there's like highlight on here. I gotta look back on the reference for like the highlight, but look at that. If there's some fun things on rays that are gonna textures. This is like all really just cutting back and forth between these different values and colors and things like that. So, okay, so I've got now the low and the high built onto this. Okay, what I love to do is this lighting effect, and it's like a little over the top, but I love it. I love it. It's called a glory. Okay, so a glory is something that it's a rainbow effect that halos around an object. We see it in icy conditions. We see it in like misty rainforest conditions, that sort of stuff. But it's like cameras can pick it up real easy, and it's like really like a rainbow halo effect. So I like to think about like, well, where, you know, I outline something purely in soft and defined rainbow. Okay. I'll show you what I mean. It works real well with like simpler objects like a ray, right? Like this. Okay. So, all right. One thing I want to do is I'm actually starting to have like feelings about this this color. I want to see. Let's see. Because like, what if we did something really weird and exciting? You know, like it could be super funky weird. Do we push it further? Maybe. Yeah, it looks like a devil ray, right? This goes red. All right, I gotta get it. It's gotta be orange. There we go. Like proper orange, not. That's pink. There we go. There we go. All right. We're a little too on the terracotta side for me earlier, so this is a little more of a lively orange here. Let's see. I like that. I know we're like just playing with color intensity here, but man, you know, that's it. So, all right. We drop in the chat. Hey y'all, just to say what's up. Say hello if you want to. I'm taking questions if you got. I'm rocking in Procreate today, iPad, building a drawing, just doing stuff. My techniques, how I approach things. I'm working high res. You know, all those things change the experience, and it's just good to like be able to go, hey, what do I do here while stuff is going on? Okay, cool. So I just tweaked some of the color, and we'll just undo that and notice like the selection's still happening, which is wonderful. Okay. So now we're going to start to think about painting go to soft brush and starting to paint now the glory effect. Okay, so here's what the glory effect is going to look like. So we'll first find like a canary yellow type thing, okay, and we'll get a really big soft brush. I'm using just the soft brush, and that's it. And we'll see here, right, like I start to lay in a little bit of that yellow. See how it like, oh, illuminates that side. Pretty cool, Mike. Yeah. Let's back it up one more time and lower that opacity some. And just, yep, try it out again. Just push some of that color. You see, you can maintain your tones, right? Watch that tone. And looks good. Shift it now. Let's go down the color wheel. We'll go to, I know we're already using orange, so like let's use like a cartoonish orange if we can, just to help it. Let's see. Okay, that's good enough. All right, and then we'll whip it around because the thing's already kind of reddish, so we're gonna just play it up with the pink now. And you see like how that starts to, actually let's get a little red in there. I don't want it to jump too fast. Okay, now let's slide the pink. Ooh, let's get a little smaller here now that we're in this tight quarters. Ooh, nice. Just fading it really. Now the blue, or purple. And it's just, like I said, like a light color overlay. And if you get it right, it works good. Okay. We're getting a little tight here in the quarters, so I don't need so much blue on this. Let's get like more like a tealy. There we go. Right, you see how that's starting to like rainbow up in a nice way, and then you can push it, round it out, and connect the yellow and the green. We kind of went like a unraveled rainbow. It's funky. Okay, cool. Yeah. You see how that kind of all happens quickly in there. So yeah, we might want to go. Let's see, to the yellow again and go more canary-ish yellow in this space. So it feels a little deliberate. I think we went a little overboard with the Eldorado yellow. Nice. Okay, and once you do the round the way here tour of the items, you can oranges. Nice. need a little bit of just pink accent over here. And then some of the purple on this. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, right, getting the different things together, and that's the glory, right? The glory kind of creates this super rainbow halo surrounding the stuff, and yeah, it's good, it's good, it's good. So let's try one more application of shading. So the overall scheme is like orangish, so we want that like oxblood red, dark. Okay, and we'll get some Melaleuca there. Okay. Oop. Let's see, we need like general shading, just to kind of like darken somewhat of these tones. Don't do too much really. Just needs a touch on the edge, just so it like feels like it's a. Because you'll see what we're gonna do. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. I promise coolness. Okay. Right, same routine, coming in the way we shaded earlier, and just putting some shadow back into that little space there. Just lets us know that it's alive, right? That this is a living thing and all that goodness. Okay. All right, so we got those shadows in there. Still one more pass. All right, I could always do one more pass. All right, we've got the shadows in there, and now what we're going to do is we're going to add the defined outline. And I'm going to use a special brush, one of my brushes that I made, and it's the Flow Field Brush Outline. All right, and I just need to tune it, get it to the right size. It's going to be full opacity, and I'm going to color in the, actually, hang on, back to Melaleuca. Okay. I just want to, I know it's bright here, but I just want to kind of just add a little bit of tinge on the end. Okay, and the reason is I'm not trying to destroy, you know, the goodness here of like what I've done. Ooh, that's a little too much. There we go. But what I actually want to do is this. Go back to that canary yellow. Canary. There we go. Super bright. Flow field brush. Okay. We can actually turn off the mask now. We don't need that mask so much anymore. Ooh, look at that nice form and dimension we have there, right? Just by adding the roundness with the shadows, and then, you know, the glory it helps, but it doesn't really do what it needs. It's more of an effect. But we're seeing that roundness now. Really, really good. I feel really, like, I'm pumped about where this is going. This is not something I draw every day, so for it to be working like this, I feel good. Okay, all right, so what I'm looking at now doing is tracing around the edge with the bright highlight color. So here, I'll start with a straight area. Oop, yeah, this thing, it like gets a weird orientation every time it lays down. Hey, come on, we'll fix it. So I stay as close as I can. It doesn't need to be perfect. It really doesn't at all. And I'm gonna go a little brighter, because like this is the glory. Okay, and then we'll switch to around the way, and we'll get the creamsicle color. It's gonna look real nice once it hits the dark stuff. We'll get the red. Okay. Hit the pink. This will look great, you'll see. So I just make that line continuous, right, with the way that it goes, and just as long as I keep it flowing and going, right, we're gonna be okay. All right, let's see. This pink. All right, so yeah, I gotta help myself. Okay, so it's on this side too. Good deal. Now we shift to purple, and the violet here is going to be, it's like a lilac. Yeah, it's like almost imperceptibly different. It's pretty close to that pink, really close to that pink. Here, I might shift this over so I'm getting a little more on the purple side. Okay, we cannot have that. Okay, and that's going to now wrap start to connect to the. I'll do that. Yeah. So now this helps me determine like how this loop-de-loop is going to work. I got that funky. I gotta fix this brush because it wants to always drop that like funky, weird, out of sync element there. I just can't do that. All right, let's get this. I just love this. I feel like I'm sewing. It really flows so nicely on this software. Boom. Okay, so I've got that part now worked out. You can see I've lassoed it all. Okay, we're gonna keep rolling to blue. Let's go to Blue Town, and we'll finish up the rainbow here. And I kind of rushed the rainbow a little bit, but it's all good. Cool. And now we'll finish with the ending yellow. It's just weird, isn't it? Sweet. Okay, so the outline glory is now complete. Right? I've got now the whole jam going and doing what it needs to do. So, okay, the soft glory's done. The glory outline is coming together nicely. There's some details I can do and whatnot. I want to make sure I still have the sort of separation between the background and the foreground working out nicely. I may just reinforce that a little bit. This time I use a soft brush. I'm gonna get really dark. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can. So a little bit of extra flow. Yeah. Cool. All right. I love it. That's cool. I can see it on the screen here. It's looking nice. Very kind of bullheaded and whatnot. Okay, so as far as like getting cool details and all sorts of things going on here, I want to now think about, well, what kind of textures do I want to put in here? So here's how I'm going to do some textures with flow fields. So I'm going to go to the back to my brush palette, and I'm going to choose my brush shader, and I'm going to use my swatch selector. And I'm going to look for, all right, well, there's color right there. Nice orange color in that space. So what does it look like when I, oh, nope, looks like nothing. Well, let's go up to the top. Okay, what does it look like now when I lay down that color in that space like that? Ooh, that looks real nice. So I'm going to lower the opacity. Okay, and I'm going to say, yeah, let's just flow, stuff like that in here, right, for now. and we'll create like some fun patterns, and it's all going to come from what colors? All the colors that we can sample inside of here. And the lower the opacity, like the better. Yeah. In fact, I might back up. Yep, do that again. So with this, I'm getting into like this cranberry territory, so it should start to look like itself now. There we go. Yeah, nice. Right, I'm just, yep, again, trying to pick up these colors. Yeah, there's a nice blue in there. Let's get a little punchier with that. So I'm using all those glory colors now to like flow around and do some fun stuff, and it helps me contour the manta ray as well. Intense. Cut back in, tone down some of this stuff. Chill out. It's just really fun to bring in some of these colors from like all over into some of these regions here. It's just, it can be beautiful, really beautiful. All right, we'll keep playing with these oranges here because that seems to be what is helping give this like real depth and dimension. Bring some of this yellow in here. All the telemarketers are calling today. Cool. Just coming together. So now that we have these flow fields inside of here, I mean, this thing just starts to lock together nicely and to become a unified, cohesive art piece, right? Like, really, truly, really, truly. Okay. All right, this is definitely like a lot more I could be doing in there, and can get real crazy and stuff. Let's see, so that's like my texture. Let's see if there's anything that's like gritty, grimy. There we go. It's like a grunge type of thing. What we can do with like a grunge look is, here, let's get like a brighter orange. You can sit on top. Okay, got the grunge. It's huge, so let's see how big that grunge will look. Okay. So you can do that, like, that's palette scumble. I don't know if you can see that effect that's going on there. I wish this brush could be bigger. I really wish it was bigger. Let's see. Is there a way to make it bigger? Taper size? I want to taper it. I gotta look into this about how to make this kind of brush bigger. I would love for that thing to just be huge and, you know, do its thing. But that's it. Yeah, 100%. But with this, if you pick up some of these undertones here, you can cut nicely into some of these other areas. So pick up that blue. See, I could cut into here, and those do like light, like little brush whip techniques. If you had like a loose brush, you could really do some funky things. So, all right, so let me keep going here and try this blend. It's just another way to have fun with blending. I'm putting these on top of my my flow fields. That's a little too aggressive. So what else we got here? Okay, good. Yeah, it's all right. There's so many little fun blending things you can do. That's not something I normally do. I just actually started trying it. What I would really be doing here, watch this. Let's just get this, where is it? Mike's Everyday Brush. Actually, the Victor. Let's use the Victor. Okay. And I'm looking for like the chance to do. Dude, why is it so intense? Alright, I don't see why the at all it is not. Just doing these little kind of groupings and markings and stuff. Yellow. There we go. These things have some funky spots and whatnot. And I'm just having fun here doing some of these splatters and little hits of color. I love doing that when I'm spray painting. So. Look, I'll find that color and then I'll just juice it up and come in here and say boom, 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 boom. Yeah, cool. And those little bright pops are where it's at. I really love doing that stuff. So let's get more of that purplishness that's over here. You can see like now when it's in this color scheme, it's like I'm keeping with the rules of the glory that I made, to where I'm spreading that color around based on the location of the rainbow. All right, we'll do one more with the green, and then I think we're gonna. I don't want to go overboard here. I'm experimenting a little bit here, but you know, it's part of the process. So we keep that blue, go a little brighter on the blue. There we go. Okay, it's just the intensity change. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love it. Cool. That's what I do. Is I constantly am pulling color back and forth, playing with like the intensity of it and whatnot, just to get it to do what it's trying to do. So, yeah. What's up, friends? Hopefully, if you're still rocking with the stream, you're enjoying yourself and checking out all the different things that I have going on here. We have been at it here. Let's see, how long have we been doing this? A little while. Been so much fun so far. We're getting close here on this ray. Yeah, I'm excited about where it's going. Why don't we focus a little bit on the background and doing some of the stars, right? So let's get our flow field brush again. And I'm looking for like there we go, like a dark yellow, okay? Dark yellow is gonna give us the chance here now to come into the flow field areas. Oh, okay, we're on the background, good. And I'll go semi-transparent with these. I don't want to go too intense, but this lets you lay down now what's a good backing color for then bright yellow. Because if we're going to put bright yellow against blue, well, we better do that responsibly, friends. That's an intense color use there, right? When you use complements or close to complements, they always get a neutralization and they vibrate and all that stuff. But if they're just straight printed, they don't have this like in between color, then they don't have that cohesion. They don't blend together nicely. So it's important that I lay down before I put full yellow, this muted gray beige, type of thing. It's just there we go. And you see every time I layer over it somewhat, it gets a little more yellow, a little more intense in spots. So that's good. That's like what I want to do with these things. So here's a lot of those going on. And now we'll shift to a brighter yellow. Okay, and then we'll keep it in the middle there, right? We don't need to go too crazy. Yeah, stack it up. Okay. So these are my little spiral stars. They're not real stars. More figurative type things. This is really the Van Gogh nod, right? It's just to kind of say, like, there shouldn't be stars here. It's ridiculous. Mike, what are you doing? What are you doing to us? Cool. All right, I'm happy with those. Let's get a little white in them. Just that touch in the center just helps us. We don't have a moon on this one, so usually I put moon in them, but it's all good. We're doing, right? Ray at night. What's up, Ray? Okay. Stars are good. Feeling good. I want to stay on this background layer. I am going to do a giant Melaleuca paint here real quick of dark blue. That's too intense. I like doing this kind of zone painting sometimes, just to, the shadow looked a little contrived to me, so I just want to take it. Nice. Okay, I got some plans here because we're gonna add. Let's see. Oh, yeah. All right. So I turned off that whole thing. Let's see the luminescence. We like the flares. We want to try some flares. Oh, light flare. Or it was really dark flare, rather. There you go. Let's do some more. There we go. Get a little overboard with these shines, but I love them. Y'all. Sorry. I like it. All right, so I did those shines. Maybe I overdid the shines, but that remains to be seen. Luminance. Okay, and then I saw, where was it? Textures. There's beautiful water. Here we go. Underwater. How's that one? This is watercolor. Let's see. Let's find that. Really cool. Cotton clay. It was like a purplish nebula. Really nice stuff. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, that's handy, by the way, that spray paint stuff. That's going to be really good. Ah, here we go. All right, under elements, there is both ocean and water. Okay, so we're going to try first water, like this. And let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Biggest it can be. Oh, I see. Okay. So. I'm geeking. That one's cool. That's super cool. Okay. 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 Ooh, let's get that back in there. Let's see. It's not so intense here. Oh, nice. Nice, dude. This is cool. And then what is oceans? Let's see. Oh, okay. It's like a calm. Yeah. All right. Nah. I like that ripple. That ripple is where it's at. Cool. Super cool. Okay, and then I have pre-made, where is it? My bubbles. I've got pre-made bubbles here that I worked on. And let's see. So we'll use the freehand and we'll grab, let's grab all of them. Okay, and then we'll do up to the gear and we'll do add, we'll do copy. Okay, and now I can take this pre-made stuff that I made earlier and then paint it here. I can paste it. Oh, well, I got 2 layers. Okay, so I've got the 2 layers now. It's a good idea for me now to look at this and go, all right, I'm ready to merge down. Whoa. Okay, so those now just, those fusion together and they're now merged. So I can now paste in, let's see, my bubbles. Okay, let's see. Oh, did you get it? We got one. That's not what we need there. Okay, let's see. Wait. All right, let's go back to the bubble thing. What? These are all. Oh, okay. These are all separate things here. Okay. Merge all this down from a previous project. Okay. Freehand that. And pick these guys up. All right. We already made these things, so let's get it. Okay. We'll copy that, and now we'll go back to the current project, and we may need to readjust those so that they sit where we need them to sit, and then we'll go paste. Sweet. All right, so we now see what we've got, and I can adjust these bigger, thankfully, because they're high res. Woo. Sweet. Okay, drop them in, and now you see we got this awesome bubble stuff. So let's think about now where these might go. So I'll use the freehand, and I'll pick that guy up. Move it to where will it look good, right? Always looks good on the item itself. So I'll do that on and off. I like that look. Then we'll go with this one. I like this one too because it's like a funky location. Whenever it's against dark, it always like pops out real nice because that glow. Okay, I'll do that. This one looks a little weird. Oh, I know why. That one doesn't have the, I got to finish that shine. I didn't do the shine on this one. This one requires a little more work. So I'm cool with it being here, but I think I might think about, yeah, where would it go? Getting that shine. There we go. If I put it near here, I bet that would like help it out. Yeah, okay. But thinking about this one here, could come in now. Let's see. Mike's soft. Some dark color. Small, light. Okay. So I see by adding a little shadow here, right? It now, I'm not doing this right. I should be masking off all this stuff. See, it's like, there we go. So there's a bit more intense shadow. Starts to work out, make sense a little bit more what it is. That's better. That's better. Cool. No, I'm thinking this is like coming to a nice end here, so I think I'm gonna get into the red ink, or the pink ink here. Juice that up to cartoon level. Okay, and then sign it up. And there it is, friends. There it is. Okay. Y'all, appreciate you guys coming with me on the stream. This has been wicked cool. All right, so we're gonna go back to another video and let's do a little time-lapse replay of coming up with the ray, right? So we went through a bunch of stuff in the beginning trying to get the ray together. Got it using the bilateral symmetry drawing assistant in Procreate. Really great thing to use. We talked about it earlier in the stream. So you can rewind and look. We worked in a high-res file and talked about how to work in 2 layers, right? How that can make that work out for us. And then played a lot with selections so we could isolate things going on in the space. So we talked about that glory and my crazy star stuff and how to separate elements and whatnot. And then we added some shines and some other luminous effects and brought in my fun favorite bubbles from a previous project. So y'all, this has been amazing. Appreciate you guys. My next step now is going to be I'm going to output this and I'm going to upload it and make it available as a print. Okay, so if this is artwork you're interested in, this was a commission that I did, so the commission's now at a good point, and yeah, I'll make this available in public. So friends, very excited to have you here. Mike Worth, thanks for jumping on the stream. Holler if you got questions, right? Subscribe to my channel. Definitely like the video, give it a thumbs up, and hope to see y'all soon, right? I'm going to be posting a schedule soon with my regular streaming times. So, friends, excellent to see you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.